Hi, this is a quick demo of the Unwired digital forms application consisting of the administration portal, which allows you to manage users, teams, and then design forms with a drag and drop forms builder, which can then be downloaded by users, and then they can fill the forms and then submit data both offline and online. So the digital forms suite of applications from Unwired consists of what you're seeing on screen, which is the digital forms administration portal. Then you have the digital forms application itself, which you use to basically fill forms. And this is something that you can access on the web, which is the demo you're seeing. And it's also available on iPhone, iPad, Android phones and tablets, and on Windows tablets, where you can also use that in an offline fashion to fill data in the field when there's no connectivity. And then, once you're in a zone of connectivity, the data would get automatically submitted. So let's focus on the forms, which is the key entity in the product. So basically, you see the list of categories of the forms. So I'm just going to take, for example, the sales order. And what this form is meant to achieve is to be allowing the users to, or the sales guys, to actually fill data in the field and then create sales orders in SAP. And that's what I'm going to show you. So let's take a look at the form. What you see here are the different versions of the forms. So a user can actually be working with an older version, while your business administrators can actually be designing a new version of the form with maybe additional fields. And users in the field are not affected until and unless the form actually gets published. So forms are actually assigned to teams or users. So here's my sales team called as the sales order group. And any user who's part of this team would be able to fill this form, right? Let's access the designer, and there you go. So what you're seeing is actually a very simple sales order form. And before I show you the designer, I'm going to go jump into the test mode so you can actually appreciate the form a lot better. So this is the form that you're seeing. There's the order type, customer, sales area, all mandatory fields marked, payment terms. And then you can go ahead and then fill in the PO number, etc. And then choose the materials that you want to have as part of the order. You want multiple materials, you can just go ahead and add as many as you want, and then submit or save it, and the order will get created in SAP. So how did we create this form? So on the left side, in this drag and drop forms builder, which is basically a no-code system, right? You'll see the list of components that can be used within these forms. So you can use basic components like text fields, number, select drop-downs, etc. Or you can also look at advanced fields like maybe an email, URL, date time fields, uploading files, having digital signatures as part of the order. And you can use layout to basically lay it out on the screen in a nice way in either vertical columns or horizontal rows, etc. Right? You can also have data grids. You can have editable grids, so you can have rows and columns of data in whichever fashion you want to basically get the users to fill. So just as an example, let me just drag and drop a text field out here. And you have the advanced properties of the components coming up. You can fill that out. You can do some minimum validation already without any coding. You can say whether it's required or not. Setting it to unique means when the data is actually submitted, a unique check is performed, and if a record with existing value for that already exists, you'll get an error. So it's an added benefit to do both server-side checking and client-side browsers checking. You can set minimum length, maximum length, etc. In case some custom validation is needed, just go ahead and tap, and you can put in some JavaScript code if you want to do that. But most instances, you would be happy with the existing logic that's available. So once you design the form, you basically go ahead and then save it. And once you save, and the changes are there, you will be able to publish it. So only once you publish, it's available to the end user. And this is something I was speaking about before. So you see the draft version here, which is basically what I just saved without making any changes, right? So that's the forms which you have, which I just showed how you could design. Another concept we've used in the sales order is, when the customer, when the sales guy creates the sales order, he or she obviously don't want to enter customer details, etc. So you want that available in a drop down, so you could just select that. So for that purpose, we have a facility called as master data that you can then design, and similar to a form. So we have sales area here, we have a customer ID, the sales organization, the sales channel, and the sales division. Similarly, if you look at let's say materials, so if you go in, you'll be able to see the material ID and the unit of measure, right? So uh, basically everything that we are using in the form is available as master data designed via the same form mechanism. An additional thing you might have noticed is the set of rows that you see here. These are basically the different materials that are going to be used by the client application in filling it out. Now let's go to the client application. So what you're seeing here is the digital forms app, the companion solution on the browser. So I want to fill, or let's say create a new sales order. Since there's basically a forms application, I go ahead, tap on the plus, and then I'm going to pick up a new form, which is the sales order. And then maybe I have to create a sales order for, I don't know, Target. So I assign it to myself, and then I'm just going to go ahead and then save. So you see a new entry gets created here. I can now just go ahead and tap on it, and I can now see the form in its full glory, how an end user would see it. So let me pick up a standard order. Customer. So you can see that there are a number of customers here. There's basically master data that's been downloaded from SAP. And for example, if I use Charlie Brown, you'll see that the sales area is again shown based on what's set up in SAP. Now, on the other hand, if I choose, let's say Miller Fred, you would see that the sales area changes. So that's the dependent data that you can set up to say, hey, if Miller Fred is chosen, then I want a different set of sales areas. And all this is handled via the master data module that you saw and the relationships. So let me go ahead and choose. I can choose payment term. This is again downloaded from SAP. I can set a delivery date. So let me set it to today. And let me give a test PO number. Now I can go ahead and choose materials. So description is shown. Maybe I want to get 10 cases of that. So let me use case. Maybe I can order another brand, maybe just one of that. Choose a different unit of measure. I'm kind of happy with the order now that I need to create for Target. So let me go ahead and then save it. So the data gets saved. If I want to make changes, I can still go ahead and then make changes, right? If I'm happy with it, all I have to do is to just hit complete. And what happens is the data then gets submitted to the forms backend automatically, and then further on to SAP. And you see the alert that I received, which talks about the sales order that's been created with the order number, and this has actually been created on SAP. So to quickly summarize, the forms application, the administration portal allows you to design forms with a totally drag and drop system, zero coding that you need to do, right? And then these forms, once they're assigned to end users or teams, those users can then log in into the app either on the browser or on the mobile devices in an offline fashion if required, and then work on them. The other good thing is there's a continuity available, so you can actually fill part of the form in the browser. Maybe you have some data you already have which you can fill, submit it, and then once saved, you can actually go back, collect your device, go to the field, synchronize with the latest data, and then continue to fill the form. So you can do part of the work online, go the rest of the work on the work device, and then submit the data. So that's a quick, short introduction. Thanks for listening. Bye.